Pause for a moment and let these words settle, not in the mind, but deeper, where you feel before you think. The mind has been trained to believe in randomness. It says, this just happened, it was luck, it was coincidence. The mind prefers accidents because accidents require no responsibility, no awareness, no awakening. If everything is accidental, then nothing is meaningful. And nothing is meaningful, then you don't have to look closely at your own life. But existence is not careless. It is not chaotic. It is not throwing events blindly into space. Existence moves with an intelligence far beyond calculation, quiet, subtle, patient. When something touches you deeply, when a moment lingers longer than it should, when a sentence pierces through your defenses and makes you still, that is not an accident. That is alignment. That is timing. That is life whispering instead of shouting. You did not randomly become the person you are today. Every joy, every wound, every delay, every disappointment has shaped your inner landscape. Even the moments you call mistakes were lessons disguised as detours. Even the pain you wish never happened carried a message. Not to punish you, but to mature you. Slow down. Feel that if everything were accidental, your suffering would be meaningless. But suffering has depth. It transforms. It strips illusions. It forces honesty. Pain does not come to destroy you. It comes to wake you up where comfort failed. Think of how many times life tried to stop you and you called it bad luck. A door closed. A relationship ended. A plan collapsed. Yet later, much later, you saw clearly that the closing was protection, that the ending was a redirection, that what felt like loss was actually space being created. Existence never subtracts without preparing to add. But the addition often comes in a form you don't recognize at first. The problem is not that life is random. The problem is that you are impatient. You want meaning instantly, explanations immediately, clarity without silence. But existence reveals itself only to those who can wait without losing trust. There is a rhythm to life. Miss it, and everything feels chaotic. Align with it, and even challenges feel purposeful. Your birth was not an accident. Out of countless possibilities, you happened. Your breath is not accidental. If existence did not want you here, it would not sustain you this effortlessly. Every breath is approval. Every heartbeat is permission. Yet you doubt your worth, you doubt your place. You doubt your timing. Why? Because the mind compares. It looks sideways instead of inward. It measures life using borrowed standards and then feels small. But existence does not create copies. It creates expressions, each unique, each necessary. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly where growth is possible. Notice how life brings the right people at the right moment. Sometimes to heal, sometimes to hurt, sometimes to mirror what you have avoided within yourself. Even those who broke you were not accidents. They arrived to reveal something unresolved inside you. Nothing in existence is personal, yet everything is intimate. Life does not target you. It teaches you. When you resist, lessons repeat. When you listen, they dissolve. This moment, right now, is not random either. The fact that you are reading these words means something in you is listening, something is ready, something is tired of living unconsciously. Awakening never comes when everything is comfortable. It comes when confusion peaks, when meaning collapses, when old answers no longer work. That collapse is sacred. That emptiness is fertile. Trust that you don't need to force your path. You need to stop fighting it. When you stop pushing against, life starts carrying you. Synchronicities appear. Doors open without struggle. You meet understanding instead of resistance. But only when you are present. Accidents exist only for the unconscious. For the aware, everything is communication. Life is always speaking. Through silence, through chaos, through beauty, through loss. The question is not, why is this happening? The real question is, what is this trying to show me? Stay with that question. Let it burn slowly. Let it transform you. Sit with this line for a moment. Let it breathe. Echo inside you before you try to understand it. The mind is a collector of fragments. It divides, categorizes, labels, explains. It looks at life like a machine made of unrelated parts. When two events meet, the mind rushes to say, just a coincidence. That word gives the mind comfort. It protects it from mystery. It keeps life small, predictable, manageable. Awareness lives differently. Awareness does not rush to explain. It watches. Where the mind sees randomness, awareness senses pattern. Where the mind sees chaos, awareness feels rhythm. Where the mind sees coincidence, awareness recognizes synchronicity, a meaningful meeting that cannot be reduced to logic. Have you noticed how certain moments arrive exactly when you are ready to receive them, not when you demand them, not when you plan them, but when something inside you softens, breaks, or opens? You think you met a person by chance, yet they speak the words you needed to hear. You think you stumbled upon a message accidentally, yet it answers a question you never spoke out loud. The mind dismisses it. Awareness bows to it. Synchronicity is not superstition. It is sensitivity. The more unconscious you are, the more life appears accidental. The more aware you become, the more life feels intentional, as if existence is in conversation with you. But this conversat, ion, is subtle. It does not shout. It whispers. And only the silent can hear whispers. The mind is noisy, always calculating, predicting, replaying. It is too busy controlling life to notice life responding. Awareness does not control. It allows. It listens. It waits. That waiting is not passive. It is alert. It is alive. Think of the moments when everything seemed to align without effort. When the right door opened after you stopped forcing. When clarity came after you surrendered confusion. Those were not coincidences, they were responses. Life responds when you stop interfering. The mind lives in fear. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants proof before trust. That is why it clings to coincidence, because coincidence means no responsibility to listen deeper. Awareness is fearless. It does not need proof. It needs presence. When you are present, life becomes meaningful again. Not intellectually meaningful, existentially meaningful. Even challenges carry direction. Even delays feel instructive. Synchronicity does not mean everything will be easy. It means everything will be connected. You may still fall. You may still struggle. But the struggle will no longer feel pointless. There will be a sense of movement, of guidance, of unfolding. Notice how awareness changes your relationship with time. The mind lives in past and future, missing the bridge where synchronicity happens. Synchronicity only exists in the present. It cannot visit you when you are absent. That is why deeply aware people appear lucky. Life seems to support them. Opportunities find them. Help arrives unexpectedly. But it is not luck. It is alignment. They are not forcing life into their plans. They are allowing life to reveal its plan. And the moment you start noticing synchronicity, it multiplies. Awareness sharpens perception. Perception reveals connections. Connections create trust. True, sin deepens awareness, a silent circle. But the mind resists this. It says you are imagining things. Don't be foolish, be realistic. The mind is afraid of surrender because surrender dissolves its authority. Yet awareness does not destroy the mind. It places it in its proper role. The mind becomes a tool, not a master. In that balance, life becomes fluid. Right now, even this moment is a synchronicity. Something led you here. Something within you recognized a resonance. Not logically, intuitively. That intuition is awareness knocking. You don't need to chase meaning. Meaning follows presence. When you are here, fully here, life arranges itself around that presence. The mind sees coincidence because it is blind to depth. Awareness recognizes synchronicity because it is rooted in silence. Stay silent enough to notice. Let life show you how deeply connected everything truly is. Let these words arrive slowly. Do not rush to understand them. Let them touch you first, and only later allow the mind to approach. From the very beginning, you were taught that truth is something far away, something hidden, something difficult, something to be achieved through effort, discipline, struggle, and time. You were told to seek it, chase it, deserve it. And so you learned how to run, from book to book, teacher to teacher, belief to belief, always searching, always hoping the next answer would finally end the hunger. But notice something simple. Despite all your searching, the restlessness remains. Why? Because truth is not an object. It is not a destination. It is not something you can possess. The moment you try to capture it, it slips away. Not because it is cruel, but because it is alive. Truth does not belong to the seeker. The seeker belongs to truth. Truth has always been closer than your breath. It has been waiting patiently while you are looking elsewhere. It has been and present in every silent gap between your thoughts, in every moment of deep attention, in every instant when the mind stopped asking and simply listened. You believe you are moving toward truth. In reality, truth has been circling you, knocking gently, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice. Have you observed that the most profound realizations in your life did not come when you were forcing them? They came unexpectedly, while walking, while sitting quietly, while watching the sky, while feeling exhausted of seeking. They arrived when you were no longer chasing. That is not coincidence. That is the nature of truth. Truth does not respond to desire. It responds to openness. When you search, you are tense, you are ambitious, you are future-oriented. You want results, and truth cannot be rushed. It moves in timelessness. It reveals itself only when the seeker disappears. The ego loves seeking. Seeking gives it identity. I am a spiritual person. On a journey, I am close to enlightenment. But awareness sees the trick. The ego survives through becoming. Truth exists only in being. The moment you stop becoming, truth finds you. Truth is not hiding. It is waiting for your honesty. Not moral honesty, not social honesty, but existential honesty. The courage to admit, I don't know. The courage to drop borrowed answers. The courage to stand naked in uncertainty. In that vulnerability, truth recognizes you. Life has been arranging moments just to reach you. Joy and sorrow, success and failure, love and loss. Each experience has been a messenger carrying a fragment of truth. But you were too busy interpreting, judging, labeling. You missed the message while analyzing the envelope. Truth does not speak in words. It speaks in clarity. That clarity arises when you stop resisting what is. When you stop demanding that life be different. When you stop postponing. Presence. Truth is searching for you in this very moment. In the way your breath moves. In the sensations in your body. In the awareness that notices these words without effort. You don't need to improve yourself to find truth. Improvement is another form of escape. Truth is not interested in your future version. It wants you exactly as you are here now. Even your confusion is not a barrier. Confusion is a doorway. When certainty collapses, truth has space to enter. That is why breakdowns often precede breakthroughs. Truth has been waiting through all your distractions, all your ambitions, all your identities. It has not left you for a single moment. You left it again and again, chasing reflections. Stop running. The search ends not because you found truth, but because truth finally found you willing, available, silent. Stay there. Let this sentence arrive gently. Do not grip it. Let it move through you like a soft wind, barely noticeable, yet deeply felt. You were taught to listen for loud things. Orders, instructions, rules, warnings. You were trained to respond to noise, to authority, urgency, pressure. And slowly, without realizing it, you became deaf to the subtle. Life does not shout. It never has. It has no need to command you. It invites, but invitations are quiet. The tragedy is not that life is silent. The tragedy is that you are noisy. The mind is constantly speaking, commenting, judging, rehearsing, remembering, planning. Even when nothing is happening, the mind creates movement. And in that continuous inner dialogue, the soft language of existence is drowned out. Pause. Feel how rare silence has become in your life. You call it emptiness. You avoid it. You fill it with music, conversations, scrolling, thinking. But silence is not absence. It is presence without distraction. Life speaks through sensations before words, through uneasiness before collapse, through intuition before logic, through discomfort before change, through peace before understanding. But you miss these whispers because you are waiting for certainty. Want clear signs, definite answers, strong signals. You want life to guarantee outcomes before you listen. Life does not negotiate with fear. It whispers first, always. If you do not listen, the whisper becomes a nudge. If the nudge is ignored, it becomes discomfort. If discomfort is resisted, it becomes crisis. Not as punishment, as volume. Most people only start listening when life screams. When illness arrives, when relationships break, when meaning collapses. Then suddenly they ask, why is this happening to me? It was always speaking. You were just not silent enough to hear. Silence is not something you create, it is something you allow by stepping aside. You don't need to stop thoughts. That is another form of noise. You only need to stop following them. In that gap, something ancient awakens. A sensitivity that existed before language. A knowing without explanation. That knowing is life's voice. Notice how the body whispers constantly. Tension, fatigue, expansion, contraction. The body is honest. It never lies. But the mind overrules it with ambition, logic, social conditioning. Life whispers through joy too, through moments of effortless presence, when time disappears, when you feel at home without reason. Those moments are not random pleasures. They are indicators, directions without arrows, but silence is required to recognize them. The loud life promises success. Speed, achievement, recognition. The whispered life offers alignment, depth, meaning, peace. And because whispers cannot compete with noise, most people choose the loud path and then wonder why they feel empty at the peak. To be silent does not mean to withdraw from life. It means to engage without inner resistance, to act without inner chaos, to move without being dragged by thought. When you become silent, you start noticing patterns, timing, subtle shifts. You begin to feel when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain quiet, when to hold on and when to let go. Life guides through timing, not instruction. Silence sharpens sensitivity. Sensitivity reveals truth. Truth simplifies life. Even now, life is whispering to you, in the way these words land, in what resonates, in what makes you pause. That pause is sacred. That pause is the doorway. Do not rush past it. The silent are not passive. They are deeply alive. They respond rather than react. They hear before they act. And because of that, their actions carry grace. Life does not demand your obedience. It asks for your attention. Become quiet enough to hear what has always been speaking. Let the weight of these words be felt before they are understood. Let them slow you down. Let them interrupt the rush that has become normal. The mind lives in postponement. It survives on later. Later, I will change. Later, I will become aware. Later, I will live fully. Later feels safe because it demands nothing from you now. Tomorrow is a beautiful hiding place. It allows you to believe in transformation without facing yourself in this moment. But life does not exist in later. Life only breathes now. And this now is not just a point in time. It is a doorway. Most people think awakening is an achievement, something rare, something reserved for saints, mystics, or the chosen few. They imagine it requires preparation, discipline, purity, and years of effort. That belief itself is sleep. Awakening is not something you earn. It is something you notice. And noticing can only happen now. You don't wake up gradually. You wake up suddenly, the way you wake from a dream. One moment, you are inside it, believing it completely. The next moment you see clearly that you are asleep. Your life has been filled with signs inviting you to wake up. Moments when you felt, this can't be all there is. Moments when success felt empty. When pleasure faded quickly. When routines felt mechanical. Those were not problems, they were alarms. You hit the snooze button. You distracted yourself. You kept moving. You kept improving the dream instead of questioning it. You made the prison more comfortable rather than noticing the door was already open. Feel the truth of that. Awakening does not ask you to escape life. It asks you to enter it fully. Right now, you are partially absent. The body is here, but the mind is elsewhere, either remembering or anticipating, rarely present, and without presence, life feels dull, heavy, repetitive. This moment is asking nothing dramatic from you. No belief, no ritual, no future plan. It is only asking for your attention. Look around. Feel your breath. Notice the silence between these words. That noticing is awakening beginning. The invitation is always subtle. Life never forces awakening. It respects your sleep. It allows you to dream as long as you wish. But it never stops inviting. Every moment is a fresh chance. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow does not exist yet. Not later, because later is imagination. Only now carries reality. The mind will resist this invitation. It will say, I'm not ready. I need to fix things first. Let me understand more. These are strategies to delay presence. You don't prepare for awakening. You drop preparation. Even your imperfections are not obstacles. Your confusion is not a problem. Your restlessness is not disqualification. Awakening does not demand perfection. It reveals it was never required. Right now as you are is enough. This moment contains everything you have been seeking, but seeking keeps you blind to it. When you stop searching, you start seeing. Notice how difficult it is for the mind to stay here. It wants to move, to escape, to control. That movement is sleep. Stillness is awakening. You don't need to fight the mind. Just don't follow it. Let this moment be complete. Not as an idea, as an experience. This is not about changing your life. It is about meeting it. And this meeting can only happen now. Listen carefully. Life is not asking you to wait.